call the meeting to order. Please remember the Acabella family and the Callie family in your thoughts and prayers tonight. Please rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, a public notice of this meeting has been sent to board members, all district schools, the Herald News, the Suburban Trends, the Record, the Messenger, West Milford Town Hall, the County Superintendent's Office, the Board Attorney, Cablevision of Warwick, and West Milford TV 77, and posted in the Administration Building. Copies of the board meeting calendar resolution were provided to all local media, Town Hall, Township Library, and all district schools. Roll call, Mrs. Francisco.
Mrs. Romeo. Here. Mrs. Stevenson. Mr. Conklin. Mrs. Dwyer.
Here.
Mr. Guarino. Mrs. O'Brien.
Here.
Mr. Opinsky.
Here.
Mr. Stillman.
Here.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
Here. Dr. Anima.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our July meeting. Nice to see you again. We're going to go a little bit out of order tonight, and then we have one of our students here, Ryan Cooper. He successfully completed the Eagle Scout project for us. He renovated the baseball dugouts at Dagos Field up behind Mackinton School. So congratulations to him. We have a little certificate for him. Mr. Cooper, would you like to come up? Mom, you can come up and get a picture if you want. Dad, Mom, whoever.
Oh, you got it? Great.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ryan.
Thank you, Ryan. And I think I see our second finalist just walking through the door. Perfect timing.
I apologize.
I went out of order just to, I knew you were running late.
Yeah, thank you.
Kevin McCall Bradley, West Milford High School student. For the longest time, and up to when you guys were attending West Milford High School, all of our cross-country meets were away. We didn't have our own course here, so we had to do all our meets away. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, they crafted a 3-mile loop around Mackin, up behind McCormick Field, even into the woods over there a little bit. So Kevin decided to create a new space for cross-country student athletes up at McCormick Field, and we thank him for that. So Kevin, come on up for your certificate. Picture?
Thank you.
Congratulations, Kevin.
Okay, moving right along. So this is obviously our midsummer update here as we plan for our safe return to school for 2021-22 school year. Many of the things, we've met as administrative teams, our administrators have spoken to their staff members as well. Many of the things that we've accomplished over the last year, there's a lot of changes in the 2021 school year. Many of those changes will be altered back in September. Some of those changes will be continued in the fall, into the school year. So I'm going to send out a memo or a letter to the school community later this week, which kind of details which changes we're going to keep for next school year, which changes we're going to change back. So, for example, Masks, last year they were required, next year they will be optional. So we'll change there. Field trips and assemblies, we did not have last year, we will have them next year. We're going to get rid of early dismissal Wednesdays. Those will be back to be 5 full days of school. Back to school night will be in person again. Last year was virtual, but not everything is being changed. So we know we've been talking for a while internally with our IT department, our one-to-one Chromebook initiative. We've been talking about it for a while. And the pandemic, although there was a lot of human tragedy involved with it, it did turbocharge our efforts for technology, to bring more technology to our staff and to our students. So our one-to-one Chromebook initiative will continue in the fall. All of our teachers are using Google Classroom. That will continue into the fall. We'll be cleaning our classrooms and hallways and stairwells with the same rigor that we did last year. So not everything is going to change. So I'll be summarizing this later this week in a letter home to the community so people can look at it, evaluate it, and if they have any concerns or questions, they can certainly reach out to us. Next up, congratulations to our entire athletic department over at the high school. We won for the second consecutive year the Big North and the NJSIAA Sportsmanship Award, which means that for the entire school year, we had 0 players who were ejected and 0 coaches who were ejected from games. Doesn't sound like much, but if one student, one coach blurts out one wrong word, they get ejected and you don't receive the award. That 1-2-second incident can stand back a district. So the second consecutive year, and we're one of a small handful of districts that have won it in back-to-back years. So congratulations to our student athletes, their coaches, obviously their parents, and our entire high school staff, our coaches for pushing the education-based athletics where it's more than just who wins and loses, it's developing young men and women. So congratulations again. And lastly, we did receive our HIV grades from our state. So this is for the 2019-20 school year, so it's already a year old. So last year we submitted our self-assessments in the fall for the previous year. We just got this back at the end of June, so it's a year. The state's a year behind with this, but the max score is 78. West Milford High School score is 77. Upshur Elementary with a 75. Maxfield Middle School with a 71. You don't have to write this down. It's right on our website. So, Milford Road with a 77. Marshall Hill with a 75. Paradise Middle School with a 77. Upper Greenwood Lake was 75. And Westbrook Elementary School was a 75. All told, the district score was a 75. That's out of 78 possible. So, congratulations to our staff for another great year.
Very good.
Thank you very much. Yes.
I'm impressed with the Big North Sportsmanship Award, but do you have anything about awards for any of our academics, any of our kids that receive special awards, scholarships? How much did we give in scholarships this year?
I can get that for you. How much we received in scholarships?
How much the kids got in scholarships? I would like to see that.
We did our scholarship night in probably early June maybe this year. And there is an aggregate total. I'll get that for the board.
Okay. I think that would be nice. I think we need to recognize our academics as well as our sports. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Novak, Education.
Thank you. Tonight I have Mrs. Colleen Weiss-Magic, who is our supervisor of science, industrial and creative technology, and arts, and mathematics here to give us a little recap about the STEM camp that I've been talking about in the last few meetings. It would be nice to show some pictures and highlight some of our staff and some of the great developments that we've had. So we have a little presentation. If board members up here want to readjust.
Hi, everybody. This year we did, for the first time ever, a 4-day Summer Explorers STEM camp. And I'll just start off by letting you know that we decided that STEM stands for strings, trees, ecology, and mammals. And mammals are because on this, well, I'll get to that. Okay, so we started off with a really dynamic and energetic team. We opened registration on the Google form, and in 95 minutes we had 110 students signed up, which was kind of funny to Mr. Novak and I, because we were like, oh, maybe we'll get 20 or 50, we'll have little groups of 5. So we actually had 10 teachers, and we had groups of anywhere from 10 to 15. We started out with 10, but then some shifting causes grade 2 to be a little bit larger. So grade kindergarten, group 1 and 2 had Miss Comerford, who is a 4th grade teacher at UGL, and Mrs. Casperson, one of our 3rd grade teachers at Westbrook. Kindergarten 3 and 1st grade, Mrs. Kimack, who is a biology teacher at the high school, and Mr. White, who's a special ed teacher at the high school. Our grade 2 team, Mrs. Aricello, who is a middle school science teacher, Mrs. Rodek, who's here in the audience, and may actually have a year at Camp Famous, but that's a secret for another time. And then we had Mrs. Novak as an instructional aide, Shane Duffy, and Faith Norell, and I'll talk a little bit about our high school volunteers later. Our grade 3 team was Mrs. Pizzino, who is a high school science teacher. She does our AP Environmental Science. And Mrs. Duffy, who up until this year was an ELA teacher at Marshall Hill. She's now, an ELA and science teacher at Marshall Hill. She's now an ELA teacher at McApin. And grade 4, Mr. Leslie, a 5th grade teacher at PK, and Mrs. Rembrandt, a special ed teacher at the high school and Highlander Academy, and Brandon Earl, another one of our high school volunteers. So you can see we had a really great cross-section of teachers from different grades and different schools, and a lot of really positive energy. So this was our gear. Every student on their first day got one of these really cool little frog backpacks, which I left at home, and my son ran back to get me twice. And in it, it's a good kid. And in it, every student got a little journal. They got like some colored pencils or crayons. They got a magnifier. And the all-important, a bug jar. This was like the biggest, most favorite item in that bag. Every student had a name tag that they wore. We were at Camp Cacamus. So that was our home base. They gave us our home building, Franklin Lodge, but they had other camps going on at the same time. So we color-coded and clearly identified our students. So you saw each of the teachers holding up a color that was the color for that group, and all the students had name tags that matched that, and all their bags had that stapled on the front. So heaven forbid, it didn't happen, but in the event that somebody got separated, they could easily be identified as one of our students. Okay, so our daily schedule. We would have all the buses unload onto the field, and all students come into a big circle, and somebody from Camp Cacamus would lead us in the 5 rules. The 5 rules went with 5 fingers. This meant have a good time. This meant show respect, no put downs, this is commitment, and this is safety. So they went through this every day, all 5 rules, and then we had whatever was appropriate safety for that day. So on day 2, the first teacher who came in said to me, Kelly, when I was crossing off the Macapin Road, a bear crossed in front of me. And the next teacher who came in said, Kelly, when I was driving up the road, a bear crossed in front of me. And the last teacher who came in said to me, Colleen, did you know that there's a bear sitting right outside the Literacy Center? And so I went to Mr. Bell, who runs all of Camp Cacamus, and said, hey, maybe in circle time today we could do a little bear safety. And so he did that with the students. Thankfully, we never saw a bear, but every one of our teachers was equipped with a whistle, explained to the kids everything that they should do should they encounter a bear. If they were pretty noisy, and didn't think it was going to be a problem. After we did that, we would have camp songs where they would like sing and dance and do things together. And then we were off exploring. At the end of the day, we would circle up in small groups, review the 5 rules again, hop on the buses, and go home very tired and very happy. So here's examples of students exploring, and I just We shared out the album. I finally was able to finish compiling it, and we shared it out, and I think there's something like 350 pictures on it. So I'll only show you 200 of those tonight. Not really. But this is my favorite story, that picture in the middle. I took that picture when the kindergarten 3 and first grade team was out there, and I heard the kids saying, "This looks really old. It looks like it was built in the 1980s." I was like, wow. Okay. Screen studies were a big hit. There are a few different places where Warder's running that was easily accessible to students. There's one up top and there's one down by what we call Cropsies. Cropsies is an area where back in the day that used to be Macapin Road, and there used to be a general store down there, and now it's just a really fabulous site. So initially we thought that would really only be a 3rd and 4th grade area, but all of our teachers were so excited and so energetic. They brought everybody down there, and there were so many good finds. So again, I could show you endless pictures of all the things that they gathered, but you can see lots of good finds. And that bug jar, right, over and over and over again, because so many good things found there. The fun kind of piece of the journal was this was not painful school. This was fun. Like, students wanted to draw what they saw. We gave them pure contact paper. They could stick leaves and plants in there. We didn't let them stick any animals. And then, like, some of our graphing was simple things. Like, there was an activity we did where there were all 3 tricolor pasta on the ground, and students would have a certain amount of time to collect it. It was a camouflage lesson. And then they took the different colors and they laid it out and counted it. And that was kind of an impromptu graph, so they could have a visual of those numbers. So it was kind of like sneaking math in without saying the word math. And everybody loved it. There were no complaints about anything. It was just a great day. So round about day 2, Mr. Novak decided there should be cool treats. We're a really good team. I'm all about, how do you describe it, that stuff in the woods. And Mr. Novak is all about all of the organizational pieces, and so ice pops for everybody, which I don't know if you remember that week, it was hot. It was very hot, so this was wonderful. And then it was over, so this is our whole group of teachers all together, and the bus is all lined up for our last hurrah. And I just want to make sure that I publicly thank first Camp Camus, specifically Lee Bell, who runs the whole program. He is so generous and so open to anything we want to do there. David Langenmeyer is in charge of educational programs, and twice I would call him and say, David, I'm coming down because I really needed to know exactly where students were going to be at all times. I needed to figure out the activities they were doing. I needed to know where people could be that they were safe. He would meet me, he would hike with me. Other times I went by myself. The whole staff greeted me like as if I was part of their group. It's a very friendly, welcoming environment. Our transportation department and bus drivers were amazing. We put this camp together probably inside of 6 weeks and managed to transport almost all of the students there and back every day. Mrs. Norell, our nurse, handled any and all things that came our way. Mrs. Bowlby and Mrs. Lynch managed all of the administrative stuff that needed to be done. And then our high school volunteers, which I want to name specifically, Delaney Brown, Abigail Kasha, Shane Duffy, Sarah Koblitz, Brandon Norell, Faith Norell, and Julia Schneider. They were an extra pair or 2 or 3 of hands for our teachers, and really we could not have been as successful in doing all of the things we did without them there kind of keeping an eye on things. And our food service. When the children got off the bus at the end of the day, they did with lunch. And so they could just go in and have a snack and then maybe take a little nap. So that's pretty much it. Did I miss anything?
You missed yourself.
Oh, yes, that's my job.
You were, like you said, it was her job. Without Colleen being able to say, yes, let's do it, we never would have been able to get this event going. So, you know, we pitched the idea of what if we could do a STEM camp, and great teammate to say, yep, let's figure it out and get it done. And all of you have been so supportive along the way. Barbara, I know we have some names in there, people who helped out, but every time I came calling to you with, well, we need this, we need, the budget's a little bit more here or there, you were more than happy to help out.
Had to have the backpacks.
So thank you.
Thank you.
So the success of the STEM camp has already led us to the conversations of what about next year. So we have been in those discussions. We are looking at some creative scheduling to try and squeeze 2 weeks into the program. Mrs. Weiss Magic explained how many students we had. The cutoff was, we were looking to get no more than 100. We had 110 within 30 minutes of the invitation being out. So if the size and the amount of staff that we have is just right for the space that we used. So if we expand it to 2 weeks, maybe we can accommodate 200, 240 kids, which would be possible. And that's it. Great summer. We are also so last time when we shared the invite, I shared at the end of the school day, and it was first come first served sort of thing. So. I know there were some parents who reached out to me who maybe didn't have an opportunity to get on there first and that sort of thing. So when we do it next year, we're going to release on a Monday, I'm going to release a time that we're going to open up that survey. And it'll be most likely in the evening, and so that give people fair warning that this is coming. So if they want to get there, they'll be able to have maybe a better chance of being on that first come first serve sort of process. And that's it.
Thank you, Dan. I think everybody loved the program. I know. I've heard different people talking about it across the town. So thanks so much for all the hard work that everybody put into it. Thank you, Colleen. I ran into you and we talked about it while the camp was going on, and I think it's an exciting thing for our kids, and anything that we can get them outside and doing things is a great idea. So,
are you here today? Yes.
The next thing is special reports.
Yeah, it's more.
Yes, she's hungry.
I'm
The AC's a little warm, so we're trying to.
It's actually all of our STEM walkie-talkies that are.
I thought it was hearing dead people. It was coming over the walkie-talkies in the corner. So the deal.
Might as well just have it on my
So Barbara, up to you. Special reports?
So we have the minutes from the June 22nd meeting, workshop, and executive session for your consideration.
I'll move that, with the minutes of the June 22nd workshop and executive session.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? All righty. I don't have a president's report. It's summertime, and other than that, I see that many things are happening around the district, and I'm thankful that we're able to be, getting ready to open school and hopefully have a normal year ahead of us. So that's all I have tonight. Public comments. This portion of the meeting is open to members of the public for the purpose of addressing resolutions on this agenda only. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be recognized by the chair first. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for a period of 30 minutes, and then time permitting, other public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker will be allowed until the 30-minute time period transpires. All members of the public speaking during this public comment period are asked to address topics listed in the agenda. All speakers are asked to sign the register provided and to give their full name, spell their last name, group affiliation if appropriate, and provide their address. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and respectful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged, and the board and the administration will not respond to them. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded to them by the laws of New Jersey. The board is not responsible and is not liable for any comments made by the public. Is there anybody who signed up for it? Anyone wishing to speak?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Justine Haley. You guys all look really tan. So, last time that you guys met, there was mention of funding from our district that we were losing because kids were going to PCTI and other things like that. And we wanted to see how we could help, if there's any senators or anything that parents in the district can do to help write those senators for you guys. So if somebody can let us know privately or what we can do to help you too.
Oh, we can
We don't want
definitely get
funding pulled from our district either. That's first. Second, I just wanted to thank you again for doing what's in the best interest of the kids for the reopening plan, without the masks. And I know that the CDC had never stopped saying the kids could stop wearing masks, so I appreciate that the district's doing what Murphy said and taking it upon themselves to, come up with their own plan that works for our district. So I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for keeping a liability on families and making everybody happy. Thanks.
Anyone else wishing to speak?
Hi, my name is Henrietta Schaefer, 22 Broadway, and my last name is Schafer. I know that I've gotten up here to speak a few times now, and I appreciate you listening. But I do think that it's essential to keep pushing for a maskless 2021-2022 school year, and I will continue to do that. The past 24 hours have been pretty difficult on that front. Governor Murphy has repeatedly said to different news sources that remasking our kids is on the table. As of yesterday, the American Academy of Pediatrics did recommend that all children are masked in the fall in school. And obviously the CDC has never let up on the mask front. So it does feel pretty hopeless again. But I still stand by the fact that our children must be maskless this school year. The really interesting thing about all of this is that the stats don't support the need for masks in kids. A recent letter to the New England Journal of Medicine actually stated that the mortality rate for kids was even lower than the CDC's number of 0.04%. That stat means that 0.04% of COVID deaths occur in children 17 and under. We've been fed a narrative throughout the pandemic that only selfish people want their children unmasked, that if you want your child to breathe freely, you want to kill grandma, and that you probably will. This simply is untrue. The reality is that the overwhelming majority of COVID deaths have been in the elderly and people with pre-existing conditions. Children are not super spreaders of COVID, nor are they responsible in large numbers for these cases and deaths. I come here today as an advocate for our kids. They have been unfairly targeted, they have been unfairly scapegoated, and they have been unfairly victimized by COVID policy. These deaths are tragic, no one would deny that, but our children are not responsible for them. Mask wearing has caused many issues for America's children, including dizziness, anxiety, learning difficulties, psychological damage. We say that our kids are resilient, but really they're survivors. The damage to them is vast, and they have been forced to shoulder a burden that was never theirs to bear. Many kids will have lasting damage from this ordeal. It seems to me that very few people, if anyone, is speaking up for America's children and what they have endured wearing masks. it does cause physical issues as well as mental ones. This is not a benign, harmless practice. It has consequences and it is not necessary. It seems to me to be a misguided practice that does not target the true reasons that people are dying of COVID: lifestyle-related and pre-existing conditions. It is much easier to blame and target America's children than for adults to take personal responsibility for their own health, and this needs to end now. I encourage the board to advocate for our children in the best way possible going forward, and I certainly do hope that masks can remain optional. Once again, I do thank all of you for updating that in your return to school plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Hello.
Hi.
Just to add to what the previous speaker
Just your
said.
name, please.
Gary Dan, 144 West Milford, Bridge Road, sorry. Just to add to what the previous speaker was saying, with .04, if you include only healthy kids, that number essentially goes down to 0. This fall, the teachers union is going to be putting a lot of pressure on you guys to do what they want. You have to do what's best for the kids. Recent study, I think it was JANA Pediatrics, they put masks on the kids and they measured their CO2 in their blood after 3 minutes. It was 6 times higher than OSHA work standards. 6 times higher. And you expect kids to go to school and learn and actually absorb information? There's no way. And the other thing is, another study, they looked at wearing a mask for 8 hours. They would send them to a laboratory, pathogens all over them, including meningitis. We don't want that. I don't think you do either. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
I'm Alexandra Swander, 112 Timberline, Newfoundland, 0745. To echo what the previous speaker said, as a concerned citizen of West Milford, I just am encouraging everyone to really think for themselves when the teachers union does come pushing for the reimposition of restrictions in the fall. As Henrietta Schaefer said, there have been some signs that this is going to be a focused effort of certain groups. And I just want to speak to really the mental health of the kids from a broad perspective. I'm 47 years old and I'm a nursing student at one of the New Jersey state colleges. It gave me an unusual opportunity this year because nursing students have the opportunity to do clinical rotations in multiple hospitals. So I had the opportunity to do clinicals in 7 different hospitals in Bergen and Passaic counties, which was pretty fabulous, except for the time that I spent in the peds ward where the kids go. And so what I'm about to relay to you is something that I was also told about by many other students when they did their rotations as they share information. And so I have a perspective of shared experiences. There was a very unusual number of children in the peds wards who were psych patients this year. And I'm not going to name hospital names because I can't. But the problem was there weren't enough psych beds in psychiatric facilities for the kids. So they were backing up into the peds wards, and this was happening really because of the lack of normalcy in these children's lives. Masking, sure, not being in school, there's many reasons that you can, think of all the ways that their lives and experiences were not normal this year. And it resulted in this backlog of cases, and it wasn't just New Jersey, it was also New York. kids that were regularly waiting a month to get a psych bed when they needed help. And I would see these kids because they would be in the Pete's ward where they didn't belong for days or weeks on end because they had no psych bed to go to. So I wanted to relay that to you because I just think it's really important. Sorry if I'm running out of time, but I'm just encouraging that everybody think about their role in returning these kids to normalcy this year because they really need that. And mask or unmasking is a part of that. I really am hoping that the kids are able to communicate freely, see each other's faces, and feel like things are just getting back to normal for them. So thank you for listening to my story, and I hope that leaves you with something that you might not be aware of otherwise. So thank you again.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Seeing none, I'd like to close public comments.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I have a few things with the agenda.
There's a couple of, correct a couple things on the agenda before we approve it, or before we adopt it rather. So the first one is going to be page 6, Personnel, Student Affairs, Resolution number 14. Personnel, Student Affairs, Resolution number 14, where it says approval leave of absence, grade 2 teacher, it should say grade 1 teacher. Personnel, Student Affairs, Resolution number 15, we're going to pull from the agenda entirely. That's Personnel Resolution number 15 will be pulled from the agenda. Personnel, Student Affairs, number 22. That's the additional hours for the kindergarten summer experience. We're going to add a new kindergarten teacher on there. Her name is spelled out earlier resolution, but Tina Pasquino of Upper Greenwood Lake. That's P-A-S-Q-U-I-N-O. For the 2-hour kindergarten experience. And the last edit, we are going operations and finance. Resolution number 3 is going to be pulled and replaced with operations, finance, and carry number 2.
We're going to have to put payroll under
We're going
operation.
to pull operations and finance. Remember that part?
11.
Operations and finance resolution number 11 will be pulled as well. And we'll take care of it all.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda with all the changes and carried.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right. Education, Mrs. Dwyer.
Okay, I'd like to move items 1 through 8 for approval.
Second. Discussion? If not, roll call mark?
Mrs. Dwyer.
Yes.
Mr. Stillman.
Yes.
Mr. Ochinsky.
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo. Yes. Ms. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
Yes. Personnel, Student Affairs, would you like to do that, Kate?
Sure. I would like to move items number 1,
14.
32, here's the 14.
Well, 15 is missing, so 15 is full.
1 through 14, and then 16 through 32.
Second. Well, the taking of care, we'll do that separate.
Okay.
Discussion? Any questions on the items on this motion? If not, roll call vote?
Ms. O'Brien.
Yes.
Mr. Ochinsky.
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo. Abstain on number 27, and yes, 17. Mrs. Dwyer?
Abstain on 31 and 32, and yes on everything else.
Mr. Stillman?
Yeah.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes, I abstain on 14 and yes on everything else. Okay, Kate, if you would like to take the hand carry, the blue hand carry?
Oh, yeah, so they can make the motion, remove number 3.
You're on the blue copy, honey. It's okay.
Oh, that's fine. I'd like to make a motion to move number 33 to 47.
Second. Discussion? I'd just like to note that, congratulations to Kate Fish. We wish her well in her retirement. I know she will be here till the end of until the end of September. But she has been a long-time employee, for us in the transportation department. Other than that, that's all I have to say. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Oshinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Romeo. Mr. Oshinsky? Appropriations?
I'd like to move items 1 through 9, with number 3 being replaced by the hand carry.
Second. Any discussion? If not, roll call?
Mr. Oshinsky?
Yes.
Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I would like to move item number 10.
Second.
Discussion? If not, roll call?
Mr. Oshinsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
Item number 11 has been pulled the table. I'd like to move items 12 through 15.
Second.
Roll call? Any questions? If not, roll call?
Mr. Oshinsky?
Yes.
Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I'd like to move item number 16 is on that hand carry.
Need a second?
Second.
Pick somebody. Any discussion? If not, roll call, Barb?
Mr. Oshinsky?
Yes.
Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Oshinsky. Okay, policy.
I would like to move number 1 through 20.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Ms. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mr. Oshinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Mrs. O'Brien.
I'd like to move item number 1 under negotiations.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. O'Brien?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Oshinsky?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Committee reports. Is there anything for Parks and Rec?
Parks and Rec, I talked to Dan today, and he said he had nothing to bring to the board, and he's going to send me over all the notes from the last meeting. So we should have a meeting, I think, this Thursday.
They're going to be meeting during the summer?
I think so. I got to look at the schedule again. I better wear it off.
Safety, there's no meetings during the summer, no meetings for superintendent roundtable. Passaic County School Boards, not till September. Not till September. New Jersey School Board, same thing. Legislative, anything?
Yeah, a couple of things. This is very interesting that Senator Orojo, there's S 3617, which is looking to establish this being advanced a school funding formula evaluation task force with the commissioner and 6 public members. This is look at the way school funding is being done now, which we all know and love here. Senator Rojo kind of was the Westminster president.
Yes.
So they're very well aware of the issues that this region is being hit with the current schools up in Florida. So hopefully this will go through, and at least there's talk about it. There's some hope.
I think he joined with other with down south, because there's a small area down south that got hit too, and I think they combined on
yeah, so that was good to see. The governor has signed a couple of new regulations, grade repetition. This allows, it's S5365, Senate 3872, parent and guardian to ask if the child be allowed to repeat a grade for the 21-22 school year. Chapter 44 amendments, which is something a lot with the new health care requirements. Basically, it's saying that it affects the budget. They want the union and the school board to get together and try and work it out. If I know more about that, but changes on the health care requirements. There's S5886, S3959, project grants for school security, 58A, 5887, S3960, grants for construction, repair, rehabilitation, or replacement of water supply infrastructure. And I want to do that another issue, so that might be beneficial. Then you'll find this interesting. Student surveys, A5597, S3801, permits school districts to administer anonymous voluntary surveys regarding students' use of alcohol, tobacco, and drugs. Parents, among other behaviors that are on the health. Parents and guardians will be notified at least 2 weeks prior to the administration of the survey. A couple of things that are on the governor's desk for his signature that passed by the legislature. This one's a little interesting, A698, S3964, redistricting and appointment requires incarcerated people to be counted at residential address for municipal counting and congressional redistricting purposes. I can't figure that one out. Maybe we should get a prison built in town.
No, thank you very much.
Student journalist rights, there's students' free speech, make sure their free speech rights as journalistic endeavors are honored. Anti-hazing policies expands the definition of, this is SA4A3149, definition of hazing to include any conduct that causes or forces another person to commit an act or violates the law, to consume harmful substances, or subject the person to abuse, mistreatment, harassment, degradation, physical, emotional, or sexual nature. So this is probably expanding a little bit on the current hit stuff. Then there's S5818, S3849, bus driver blacklist. They're going to have a list of people that you shouldn't be driving in companies with bad records that shouldn't be used. I'm surprised they don't have it already. Then school bus safety, hold the school board or a contract responsible if they approve or assign an individual basically with a bad record and not checking them out. Another, regionalization, S3488, A5537, bill established a grant program for conducting regionalization feasibility studies and voluntary group. So, you know, the pushes that as the for the county. I don't think it's here. And then the last thing, this is actually in the paper recently, the legislature and governor agreed to raise the state share of extraordinary special education costs to 90% from 55%. I think that's good. And I think this happens here, and this is from Senator Sweeney, the daughter Down syndrome. We were hearing people say a family moved in with 3 kids with challenges, and now our budget is really screwed. Very articulate, Senator Sweeney. And, you know, again, and they also recognize that some towns with reputations for good programs draw families with them, which is not a bad thing, but somebody's going to pay for it. So.
Thank you. Technology race here, is there anything going on? Did you have a meeting?
We have a meeting scheduled for tech committee coming up soon. Yeah, so no report tonight, but we'll have one for all.
The Township Board of Education and the town, we had a meeting, but there really is nothing that the mayor was not able to be there, so.
We did talk about, you know, cooperating to get the fields back in order. There was that discussion. And there's also discussion about the fireworks, and if anybody saw the fireworks, they were spectacular. So that was great. And I had friends who came up and watched them, and then one of my friends left an umbrella there, and the next day we went back. And of course the umbrella was gone, but they all commented on how spotless the fields were after such a big event like that. And that's my town.
It was very nice to have the fireworks back, and it worked out very well behind the high school, on the turf, so it's good if we can keep doing it.
But there was no cotton candy.
I'm sorry about that. The West Milford Municipal Alliance.
The meeting was held during the tornado that we had here in West Milford. Yours truly was in the basement dealing with a water issue, so I did not attend. Courtney did go. The only thing I can say with 1,000% certainty is the night out event will be taking place on, I think it's a Wednesday, but I know it's August the 3rd at Bowling Springs. Starts at 6:30. It's free, it's for the community, there's a lot of great stuff happening, we have the police department, fire department, sheriff's department, Center for, Highland Family Success Center will be there, and it's just going to be a great event, a lot of great stuff going on.
Are they going to bring the canines in? You know, the sheriff's will bring the canines?
I'm not sure about canines, but please don't hold me to it. I know the one thing I think they're going to do is scuba dive thing going on.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that they're working on. I think, may or may not, I don't know.
Wow.
Unfortunately, like I said, I was sopping water out of my basement during the meeting.
Well, I think now the National Night Out is.
National Night Out is
I'm so glad that we're doing it here in West Milford because so many other communities do it.
Yeah.
And I know that they get a good turnout.
The support from the community and from the county has been unbelievable. I know they've been meeting a lot at the Highland Family Success Center, so I kind of catch, bits and pieces of information. I'm not part of the committee, so I have my own things to do, but it's going to be great, and I hope everybody shows up.
That's good. Yeah. Old business. Does anyone have anything for old business? Dave?
This came up last meeting about PCTI, and they're looking into contacting the legislature or somebody about, not having our account, or looking at some of the numbers there, and some of the numbers are not that up to date on the state website, but PCTI, their cost per student is $28,000 and change, while ours is about $26,000. Over 26. These guys part of enrollment 3,700, 33 roughly. Total spending, we're at 85 million, and they are 104 million total spending. State share, we have 8.9, which went down 21%. Their maybe the Passaic County School Board meeting, because this affects probably all the districts in the county. Again, this is something that PCTI is just kind of getting shortchanged on our state aid numbers, not being able to count those students.
Except we're the only one in the state county here losing money.
Yeah.
Us and, what is it, Rainwood? Rainwood maybe loses money? Yeah, so that, they're not feeling the impact of PCTI, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I was wondering if maybe next time.
Well, Debbie and Kelly are doing state county, so if you want to give them some of that information, they can gladly.
It can be swapped out, again, it doesn't get PCTI at all.
No.
The formula, the way they do it, I don't know what the legislation really is on that. I don't know how, what kind of, how much spin and everything. Again, PCTI does very little of anything in property taxes, where most of our budget is property taxes. However, they get all the tuition. So maybe just another item funding-wise that needs to be looked at on a statewide basis. So I'm sure that they affect other counties.
It must work the same for every county, right? No, it doesn't. It only works in a state county like
Every individual county has their own costs for their technical stuff.
So not every county does it the same way as we do, where we get they don't get counted in our enrollment.
Oh, no,
That's what I'm thinking.
That is
Yeah.
the formula, but
Yeah.
the tuitions are different.
Yeah, that I wonder if the formula is
Yeah.
the issue.
Vocational schools are not counted in your enrollment. That comes right from the appropriate people.
Any other old business?
To tag along, I just wanted to tag along, I don't know if we'll be meeting in person September, I really hope so, because then we'll be able to meet the people directly, start, kind of.
There was a survey put out. Did you get the survey from the state county about meeting in person? I got one in the mail. I got one.
If I did, but I'm really hoping so, because the Zoom is just lovely.
It doesn't help us because you can't really network and work with other people
exactly.
on a Zoom meeting because there's 40 people on it, and it probably isn't pertinent to 39 of those people that are on there. But, yeah. Jay?
I know we talked about it in committee about the field usage and all that about baseball. I know that we had switched them back to Gallon, to the Diagos. I just want to make sure that the public knows that we only take and maintenance our fields during our time, because we not from the township. So,
Thank you for bringing that up. And
I know that's a big thing right now, and the board does everything they can to maintain the fields and fix them. But this is our off season, so that's when we're supposed to fix them, not.
And it's really important that the public know that our maintenance guys went out of their way and they reopened Kilgallen. Chris and his guys did a really good job to reopen Kilgallen for them.
And I know that Dan was a big part of that.
Yes, Dan too, yes. So, I mean, we of course want to do anything we can to make it better for the kids here in West Milford to be able to play and everything. But in the end, we can't maintain fields when we're not using them. So, Kate.
I was going to say the same thing. And Courtney asked that I mention it in old business also about the fields and just day two sort of meeting with people. I did take some time today and I looked at every single field that we have and talked to a lot of parents out there like, what are you doing? I'm just looking at the fields, just walking through. And I can tell that they are putting a lot of time in and that they're working on it. And I wanted to thank the administration, I wanted to thank our maintenance crew and everybody that's working on it, and just ask that we just continue to be updated. It's definitely been something we've talked about all year long, and it's something that we always work on and are always keeping updated on. But today was my first day that I visited every single field. You go to fields, whatever. I just went around, and the one baseball team right down here before our meeting, the team only had 7 players, so we won by a you know. So, but I did question why their uniforms were blue, Highlanders, black and gold, you know, but anyway, they're not Highlanders, it's a travel team. But to that point is that we're sharing, and I love to see the collaboration and working together with the rec department, and I just wanted to also mention that. So thank you to everybody that's been part of that.
We did talk in committee about trying to maintain our field all year long,
Yeah.
because if not, the play gets hard and all that, so hopefully going forward, we can,
Well, yeah, we had some discussion.
you know, even though we don't use them during the summer, but we still need to.
Yeah, I mean, our field, at the turf, you go to the turf at any moment and there's someone on the turf with a camp or practice, or, you know, they're in constant use right now. And, you know, that is probably part of the
Well, even the
conversation.
town closes fields, like Farrell Field, to get it better for the next season, so I mean, it's same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank Barbara publicly, because Barbara has been on top of this as far as budget items, so that we have the money to do the things that we need to do on the field, and working. She has worked with Chris to get her guys out there working hard, and you know, she tries everything she can to make sure that the kids have a good place to play, and that our kids are playing on good field. We have to always remember that that's a balancing act too with what we're doing. So I thank you, Barb, because I know you really have done a lot for that, especially over the last few. Right, yeah, and there's so many other needs in the district, so thank you. Any other old business?
I'd like to make a motion for a little business.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? New business, any new business? Okay, need a motion?
I make a motion to close the business.
Second. Dave and Terry. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, public comment. Public comment, this portion of the meeting is open to members of the public having a legitimate interest in the actions of the board for the purpose of addressing any subject matter pertinent to and or directly related to operations of the West Milford Public School District. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be recognized by the chair first. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for a period of 30 minutes, then time permitting other public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker will be allowed until the 30-minute time period transpires. All speakers are asked to sign the register provided and give their full name, spell their last name, group affiliation if appropriate, and provide their address. Issues raised by the members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and respectful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged. The board and the administration will not respond to them. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded to them by the laws of New Jersey. The board is not responsible and is not liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in the light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments. Members of the public are reminded that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Anyone wishing to speak?
You guys were working this summer. Can you hear me?
Yes, your name?
Okay, great. Gary Shepherd. 829 Sierra Drive, Franklin Lakes. I rise to speak to you about some very old business, the Hillcrest School. When I say very old, this project, this should have been a very simple transaction. Unfortunately, it hasn't. Allow me, I know I've got 5 minutes, I'm going to take about 2 minutes to go through some of the timeline. Initially, the initial bid was put out 2 years ago for this building. On July 31st of 19, I requested, because it wasn't included in the bid package, a map delineating the field, because the board requested that a field be taken out, which now we're speaking that the board doesn't want to take care of fields, but that's a separate subject. I went to to the Board of Ed office, and Barbara Francisco gave me the map that she had drawn. I followed up with an email, just memorializing our meeting. There was an email on August 8th in 2019. I emailed Ms. Francisco because your bid did not include a septic field that the building has. You can't operate without. So it was just the building, no septic field, it was incomplete. So at that point, I believe Ms. Francisco went back out and put forth a new bid on August 21st, 2019. The bid was delivered. The bids were due on 9/13/19. On 10/11/2019, Ms. Francisco emails me to tell me that the bid is to be discussed on the next Board of Ed meet agenda on October 29th, 2019. On October 29th of 2019, this board voted publicly to accept my bid. Mr. Adams, then he introduced himself to my board attorney. I'm just trying to give you an idea that things started moving, but the bid as it was put forward, parts of it didn't make sense, and we kept trying to make it work. I respond with Mr. Medeo, who is my attorney's information, and on January 14th, we received the first contract for the sale of the project. That's January 14th of 2020. On January 15th, we respond to that contract and ask that the contract match the bid, which it didn't. Emails back and forth and even a phone call from your borough administrator saying that he had been in contact with this board about the building while the bid was accepted and while there was a contract. Or we were trying to finalize a contract. Finally, in November, as we went back and forth, your attorney, John Crute, requests that we complete the transaction. On the 24th, Mr. Crute requests a Zoom meeting to discuss how the contract doesn't match the bid. 12/21 in 2020, we have a Zoom call and we discuss how it doesn't match, how there's contradictions in the contract, how it can't be signed, and we ask for our comments to be addressed. On February 5th of 2021, Mr. Crute requests a reply. We request for Mr. Crute a reply to our comments of January 15th, 2020. And we resent our comment. Was resent on November 10th, 2020. These dates might be a little confusing, but the point is, all we kept doing was saying, your contract doesn't match the bid. It contradicts itself in 6 different places. We can't sign it. Give us a contract that we can sign, or at least have it reflect the bid. On February 19th, Mr. Crute replies that they will only abide by the option that we bid on. In April, Mr. Crute notifies my attorney that we have a April 15th deadline of moving this deal forward. At this point, we have no idea what's going on with this board. We have no idea what's going on with your attorney. All we've been doing is asking that the contract reflect the bid. So I instructed my attorney to put forth a rider.
I have to stop you there. I'm sorry.
May I finish my last comment? I'm almost done. It'll be 20 seconds.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Our contract now reflects the bid. It simply took out the contradictions. We signed it. This board has been sitting with our money for 2 years, $20,000. We signed the contract. You're sitting with it. That was on April 12th. We still haven't gotten an answer.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak under new business? If not, second. All those in favor? Aye. There is no need for executive session tonight, so
I need a motion to adjourn.
At 8:10, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Good evening.